Welcome. In this video I'm going to be taking a look at this NAKOOS magnetic helping hand soldering station. So this was provided to me by the distributor, but they're not compensating me for this video and they're not reviewing it before I post it. If you find this video helpful and you want to purchase one of these, I'll put a link to it in the description on Amazon, and if you use that link it helps me out a little bit and doesn't cost you anything extra. So this has lots of features on it. It has a small vise, it has a clamping arm, it has a magnifier, so we'll get into it all. So this is about as full featured as they come. So this says aluminum table vise, so we can see that here. Has some rubber on the jaws here, and here's a magnetic base for it. So we can put this wing nut through it, or wing bolt, and we can thread that on, so we can mount that. Here's a small clamp. Here's some rubber padding. Looks like those are extras for the vise. So it looks like it comes with 2 extra sets. So let me pull all this stuff out of here, and then we'll go over it in detail. So this has a thick metal plate for the base. So the attachments will attach with magnets here. So it does come with some feet to put on here. I usually mount these somewhere along the edge, maybe about a 1/4 inch from the edge or so. We have 4 flex arms here. So these are for the little alligator clip helping hand parts. Let's put these on here. So we have 4 of these. They look to be about the same size. Let me zoom that out. Then we have 4 of these PCB holders. So these can mount in the through holes, or you can wedge it in here, and I'll show that in detail shortly. Now there's lots of parts on here. You're under no obligation to put everything on here at the same exact time. You can find what you're going to use most and put them on here. Then we have the alligator clips. So those fit in the flex arms, and they have these little thumb screws. So I'll screw in the thumb screw here, and the alligator clip will go in the end, like so. Then we can tighten that down in any position. The jaws on here have like a shrink wrap type material on them. I assume if these wear out, you can put some new shrink wrap on. And then we can position this in any orientation we want to hold things. So it has 5 of these alligator clips, but it did come with an extra alligator clip and thumb screw in case you lose or damage one. Then we have the arm for the clamp. So this has indents here, so you loosen this up and it kind of ratchets in place, and you tighten it down. So that's going to hold very tight. And when you tighten this one knob, it's going to tighten this pivot here and down here also. So let's mount the clamping arm on here first. And this is a 1/4 20 thread, so you could use this to mount like a camera mount or a GoPro mount or something. That could be very versatile. So I'll mount that back here. I can get this into some kind of position and I'll lock it down like so. Then we have a LED magnifier. And these magnets do have plastic on the bottom to help keep this from getting scratched. And this came with a wrench you can use to help tighten this if you need to. So I'll mount this in the back here, position it there. So this is powered with USB, so you can use a USB phone charger, a power outlet. There are many options for powering this. So I can turn this on here. We have light, and we're going to have probably 3 color temperature modes. Yep, we have a warm, a blue, and a white. And then we're going to have 10 levels of brightness here. So you can see here. So you're going to have 30 different options here. So then we can mount the clamp over here. So this is a little crowded right now. I would probably move things on and off of this as I was working, depending on what my project was. Nice thing is these are magnetic, so I could easily pop these things onto the side of my metal workbox or another metal surface. But as you can see, this is very full featured. This has everything you could want. So let me get some things to demonstrate on here. First I'll show these holders here. I have a Raspberry Pi computer. Now I can put these through the holes. The other way is you line up that notch with the side of your PCB. So I can line these up here. There we go, and that's holding it. Now the way this is set up here, this is the leverage. If you push down here, it's going to lift that side, but if you're doing something in the middle, it should be pretty stable. This is a pretty small PCB. If you had a larger one, it might be a little more stable also. But this one's a little tricky to demonstrate this, but we can hold it also by the sides. Like so. As far as these other parts are concerned, here we have the clamping arm. I'll lower this down, kind of turn it to the side a little bit. Tighten it up, loosen the clamp. Actually need to raise it up a little bit. And here we can hold a heat gun with this. Now this has a magnifier light, so you wouldn't really need a flashlight here, but you could take this off and magnet it to something else, and you could hold a flashlight with this. I mean, there are so many options you could do with something like that. Then here we have the vise. Open it up. So here I can hold this circuit board in here. Again, Vise is a super useful tool if you're doing model making and things. You could clamp something in there if you want to, let's say, grind on something or carve on something. This is pretty sturdy. This is a heavy base, so this isn't going to flop around on you. Now, it is an aluminum vise, so this isn't made for blacksmithing and stuff, obviously. But for craft work and electronics and things like that, I think this is plenty sturdy for that. Of course, the traditional way to hold something on a device like this would be to use the alligator clip helping hands. So you can clamp onto those. It has 4 of them here. Usually you want to use at least 2, but say you had 2 holding a circuit board, you could have another one holding a component in place while you're soldering it, things like that. So that's very versatile. And then if you're having trouble seeing, you can use this magnifier here. So there's without the magnifier, there's with the magnifier. And this also has that light on here, and you could use the light with the magnifier without. So if I want to see this circuit board, I can put the light kind of here. I can still see it under the magnifier, or if I need the magnifier, I can move the magnifier in place. And this magnifier is the tallest thing on here, so it can really reach the whole thing. So you can move it around to where you need it. So that's the NAKOOS magnetic helping hand soldering station with the clamping arm, with the vise, with the magnifier. If you're looking for a soldering station that does it all, this is an option you're probably going to want to consider. I think this has lots of applications outside of soldering, which is kind of the traditional thing a lot of people think of when they think of helping hands. I think the vise and the clamping arm would work very well for model making, crafts in general. You can hold things at different angles. You can hold wide things here. You can hold smaller things here. This you can hold in any orientation. And of course you have your helping hands, which are super versatile with these flex arms here. Then if you want to do traditional electronics work, you have your standoffs here that you can use, or your helping hands. And then the magnifier gives you that light and also the magnifier. Now since this is USB powered, you can power this from pretty much any USB port, but this would also be good for portable use. So say you work craft shows or something, you could take this to your craft show and you can plug that into a small portable power pack to run your light. So that's all I'm going to cover in this video. If you have any questions, please leave them in the comments. If you like this video, please click like. If you haven't subscribed to my channel, I'd appreciate if you could do that. And thanks for watching. Until next time, goodbye.